Hi everyone, I'm Shane Winn with Allison Sports, here live from Stagwell Sport Beach 2024, and I am joined today by Tati Lindenberg, who is Vice President of Marketing for Unilever brands, and you lead the Dirt is Good brand.
Yes, that's correct.
Welcome to Sport Beach.
Thank you for having me.
Certainly. So you're leading a brand called Dirt is Good, and I want to start with this. This is a brand that spans South America, Europe, Asia, pretty much everywhere but the United States. Named in a few different countries. Why is Dirt Good?
So Dirt is Good, as you said, is a family of different brands. Mm-hmm. The combination of all these brands make Dirt is Good the largest laundry brand in the world. And the Dirt is Good idea started 20 years ago. It was created in Brazil, my country, not by me, but it was created in my country by someone else. And basically the whole idea of Dirt is Good is to flip what dirt means in the laundry context and for humanity in general. Before Dirt is Good, and to be honest, even today, all other laundry brands are pretty much focused on avoiding dirt. Mm-hmm. So it's always this idea that dirt is bad, is an enemy. You have to avoid getting dirty. And Dirt is Good was created and flipped this as in saying, dirt is actually good. You should embrace it. It's physiologically good for human beings. It is physically important, and it's also mentally important to get dirt, get stuck in, and just move on with life.
I was telling you before we sat down here that it reminded me of my daughter's experience going to Montessori school, and she'd come home every day covered in sand. And at first I was like, why is this happening? And then I sort of began to embrace and understand that there was more to it than that. You mentioned in an interview recently that this idea of Dirt is Good is a Western idea. And I'd love to probe that a little bit, because I'm sure that different regions of the world, dirt may be good or not so good.
So Dirt is Good, as I've mentioned, was indeed created in Brazil. So it was a Western idea. Mm-hmm. And it went extremely well because the connection of Dirt is Good was with the idea of being free. Dream, dare, try, being more creative. And it worked beautifully both in Latin America as well as Europe. But when we decided to bring that idea to Asia, as you mentioned, dirt was not considered good at all. Right. So we couldn't simply as well show kids being more creative or learning new skills just by getting dirty. Pretty much as the example of your daughter, that was a lot of concerns from consumers as we started testing the idea, as in, why would I even allow my kid to get dirty? What is in it for them? Or in it for me as a mom or a dad, a parent? And that's when we decided to connect the Dirt is Good idea to values, societal values, or even, I have to say, more environmental values. So what we started doing, and that is the beautiful campaign that we did for Ramadan for a few years, we were showing kids getting dirty in the context of helping others. And we added another tagline to Dirt is Good, which is, if dirt leads to something good, then dirt is good. So we are pretty much explaining that dirt and the act of getting dirt can lead to something good. There is this really beautiful campaign, as I've mentioned, during Ramadan. There was this little boy with his clean white kurta, ready to go for celebrations. And then he sees an old man trying to sell his samosas, but his samosa cart breaks, and the kid wants to help this old man, and then he basically puts all samosas onto his kurta and starts selling. Needless to say, the kurta was extremely dirty and stained with difficult stains, like oily ones. And then the mom looks at him at the end of the film and says, what? But that's okay. She accepts that because he was doing that in order to help others, and he learned a value by doing so. So that's how we adapted. We used to say that we push more on the idea of freedom in the Western world, and we push more in the idea of values in the Eastern world. That is the difference.
So dirt is less of an outcome than it is a journey towards a better outcome.
Exactly. It's a means to an end. And likewise, there is another important element, which is how much we evolved the Dirt is Good idea throughout the years. I used to say that Dirt is Good has eras. Like Taylor Swift, we have the different eras. So we started with what we call the creativity era. So at the very beginning, all of the campaigns would show kids trying to be more creative. They could potentially be drawing on the beach or painting. With time, then we evolved to more values, as I've mentioned. We evolved into play, and now more recently, we evolved into sustainability. So we are showing kids getting dirty as they were, for instance, picking up plastic at the beach or planting a tree. So those were the different eras that we had. And the last one that we started back in Jan this year, it's the most recent era, is all about getting dirty in the context of sports. Reason why we are here as well. So it's really about how we display resilience and how getting dirty can make people more resilient. And there is no better way of showing that than in the context of sports.
Well, I would argue in sport, if you're not getting dirty, you're not working hard enough.
Exactly. I used to say that you need to get, well, in the process of getting dirty, you might win or might lose, and you needed to keep trying and trying. But for sure, everybody who wins got dirty. That is pretty much the association that we do. And it's true. When we look at even historical images of people like winning any championship in any sport, the winner is unavoidably dirty because that is a person who got really stuck in.
So you mentioned advertising. As a brand marketer, when you build campaigns, you typically are building them in a more of a 360 fashion. What are the other elements that go into a campaign like this?
So another important element of tapping into sports is to try to build an engagement model that would move beyond TV. Fortunately or unfortunately, because it's an opportunity but also a challenge, laundry is a low engagement category. People don't adore doing laundry. I used to say that not even I do love it, and after how many years, 15 years working home care, I still find it a burden. It's not something that people would wake up and say, oh my God, I'm gonna do laundry now. Exactly. So it is a low engagement category. You simply have to do it. You can't avoid it. So also, in order to engage from a communication standpoint, we needed to start associating Dirt is Good to more lifestyle brands, or as I used to say, more cultural important moments. And that's why recently, actually last July, we announced a partnership with the Arsenal Football Club, because it's a way to show getting dirty in the context of football, but also tapping into culture and tapping into supporters and try to bring this engagement that you don't have in laundry, but suddenly you have in sports, and you start connecting those two things. And we obviously drive way more engagement when we show a post, for instance, in social media with Bukayo Saka from Arsenal.
Of course.
Just anyone else. And it's working brilliantly, so much so that today we will be announcing a partnership with Vini Jr., the Real Madrid and Brazil player. So we're very happy about it.
Well, if you've been on Sport Beach at all, you know that sports and culture are so intertwined, and it sounds like Unilever is clearly tapping into that ethos. It has been a pleasure speaking with you today, Tati. Thank you so much.
Thank you.